Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning and welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Bill Allen, sitting in for Winston this morning, who is in Louisiana red fishing and didn't invite me. So I hope he has a great time, and I'm sure there'll be lots of video from that when he gets back. We got a great show lined up for you this morning. Got a very special guest coming on with a lot of interesting things to talk about. So let's get started with our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. You know, Haney's a great place to go, college isn't for everybody. If you want to get out of a job and start a career, those are the people that you need to talk to. We're looking today a high of 91 with a low of 74. Southeast wind about 8 to 10 miles an hour. You know, we've had a break the last couple of days on some of the oppressive heat that we had earlier in the week. And it's still, though, you know, it's hot. It gets hot out there. You need to be sure that you're hydrating well before you fish. And if, like a lot of us, you need to be fishing early and you need to be fishing late. So just take some precautions before you go out in this heat. And this cooler is nice, but it's not going to last. So let's look over at the river readings in Apalachicola. We're looking at Apalachicola at Bluntstown is 5 feet and falling down through the weekend. You know, it's great river levels. It's time to be over there fishing. We're hearing some fantastic reports, you know, about brim being caught and bass. Same thing over at the Choctawhatchee at Caryville. If I don't, you know, try to get this straight so we can see it. It's at 4.5 feet, and it's falling. A nice steady fall there, you know, which again makes both these rivers a great time to be over there. There's a lot of really good fishing going on. Well, let's go ahead and take our first break, and then we'll be right back. Hey, and welcome back. Let's take a minute to look at our tides brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're looking at a high tide today at 1:11 p.m. and a low tide at 8:35. So we got, you know, if you like to fish the incoming, you like to fish the falling, you got a great opportunity to do that today. I think, again, we should have some pretty good weather, and wind, you know, probably not as high as it's been. So great day to get out there. And also at our peak fishing time, brought to us by Mark Cowart from Edgewater Realty. 3:41 p.m. to 3:41 a.m. to 5:41 a.m. We already missed that, but looking at 3:11 p.m. this afternoon to 5:11 p.m. So should be a great afternoon to be out. We'll have a falling tide, and like I said, the 3 to 5 area is not going to be quite as hot. So if you have an opportunity to get out today, should be a good day. A couple of updates before we bring our guests on. One is concerning the landing over at Carl Gray Park. I just got some information, some updated information from Greg Brudnicki, and they're going to be very soon. You're going to see them over there where the landing is now, digging that out a little bit to be able to make that usable. But then the long-term plan is to actually move the ramp down a little bit towards Hathaway Bridge and just create a new ramp situation over there. You know, Greg being an outdoorsman and understanding, and we fish a lot together, and we put in there a lot together, and a lot of people do. It's not just a matter of digging out the ramp that we've got now, because, you know, as most of you know, once you get past the boat launch, it's kind of shallow right there. So they've identified a place a little bit further down towards Hathaway Bridge where the water's a little deeper on out. And I understand now that this process of getting it through the state and the EPA and everybody else that has to have their fingers in the pie to approve that is rapidly moving on. I know it's been very slow, and we've all been anxiously waiting for this to happen, but it is forthcoming, and it looks like that's going to be a tremendous situation right there that you'll be able to load 2 or 3 boats at a time and have enough water even at low tide, you know, to be able to get out and not worry about being in such a tight or a narrow lane. So congratulations, Greg, and a thank you to the City of Panama City for being concerned about, you know, the ramp situation and just helping us all out right there. Now, you know, as far as fishing, it's been kind of back and forth and getting mixed reports. I know Mark Coward has been out. We were able to get out the other day and were able to find a few redfish, but you know, it's just been a little bit tough. I got some great reports. I talked to Captain Scotty, called me the other day, and on this incoming tide early over in East Bay, a couple of guys that he knows caught, had a real nice catch of redfish. They had like 6 good redfish and 1 big trout. So Greg and I were able to get out the other day and find some fish. So it's just, you know, it's a little bit slow right now. I don't know if it's the heat, the rain that we had has stained this water just a little bit, but, you know, it's like anything else. You got to get out, you got to work for them. Scallop report. We've been over a couple of times. I know Winston's talked about it, and, you know, it's kind of a sparse year. You really have to hunt for them. They're still a little on the small side, so, you know, I'd encourage you to, you know, leave those quarter-sized ones when you do find them and you know, get some of the little bit bigger, a little more mature scallops. But, you know, it's just, you don't see a bunch of people out there now, and that's kind of what happens when the word spreads. But, you know, you can find some. You just got to get out and explore. Now, the ones we found were in, you know, 1.5 foot of water, and a lot of them, you know, buried up. So you kind of have to maybe put on the rubber gloves and do a little digging to come up with them. But, you know, it's like anything else. You know, it's a little bit of work, but they're there. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to take this break a little bit early. We've got a very special guest coming back to talk about some exciting things that are going on right here in Bay County as far as you know, our situation with fishing and educating kids and into the outdoors. So let's take this break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I am joined by my extraordinarily special guest this morning, Donna Allen, who, yes, unfortunately happens to be my wife for her point of view. But anyway, she's been stuck with me for 31 years. And she also reminded me, before I forget, this is my mother's 91st birthday, and I want to say a special happy birthday to Mom. As we all know, you know, fishermen, outdoorsmen, sportsmen, we all contribute to the economy or to our economy, you know, by buying a license, buying boats, you know, fish, wholesale, retail, restaurants, you know, it all comes back to somebody going out in the outdoors, being a fisherman, and exposing our kids to this and bringing them up, especially those maybe that don't have the opportunity to, you know, experience the outdoors the way that a lot of us have growing up. And to that end, and I'm going to let Donna talk about this mostly, she's got together with some experts, other experts, to put together the Eco Golf Project.
Yes, it's called Eco Golf, Stewards of Our House. And Ginger Littleton, Gail Carmody, and I have been working on this project for about the last 3 years, pulling some information together. And it all came about with a conversation. If we don't hook kids early and have value and give them value or let them see the value in the economy of the ecology, then that's going to go away. We're not going to have students or people in other generations that even care about fishing, that even care about the seagrasses, that even care about how this all works together to make the Gulf of Mexico healthy, to make the Bay healthy, and how we contribute to that. Students today, or children today, only spend about 4 minutes a day outside. Yeah. And 4 minutes a day outside doesn't give you value about what is outside and why it's important to be outside. We all grew up just, you know, your mom saying go outside and play, and that just doesn't happen
anymore. Drink from the
anymore.
water hose.
Yeah. That's true. That doesn't happen anymore. And so what we see is a generation coming up that doesn't value the outside, doesn't value our ecology. And so it all came about with talking about to scientists and talking to just the common sense of the ecology, the economy of the ecology.
Now, just a little bit, now you obviously have been in education and worked with children from all the way back, you know, at Girls Inc. and things like that. Ginger is at Florida State, correct? Ginger
is at Florida State. She's the STEM Institute Director at Florida State University, and she is a school board member, sitting school board member. Gail Carmody is a retired U.S. Fish and Wildlife Regional, I think it's director, something, I don't think the word's director, but she was over the region, and she does a lot of she does a lot of things with our economy and ecology. She's also on the Restore Act committee appointed Restore Act committee for the county commission. So we have other professionals that we've worked with in the area of STEM. STEM, of course, stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And having those professionals, those science professionals and educators get together is really important. There's been a disconnect with that. Where scientists are over here teaching this and teachers are over here teaching this, and if we pull those two together, then that makes for the best environment for students to learn hands-on. If you don't learn hands-on, if you're not out in that bay, if you can't understand why the seagrasses are important, then you won't care about it.
So this goes beyond just a situation where, you know, it's trying to get kids outside. You know, it does accomplish getting the kids outside of some various activities, as I understand it, but it kind of stresses the importance of why the outdoors is so important to our economy.
Correct. Right? The resources that we have to manage for the resources of our ecology. I mean, it all kind of fits together. And what we're starting with is the Boys and Girls Club of Bay County and Girls Incorporated have come along and partners with us so that we can take this curriculum that we're developing, haven't developed it yet. That's part of what we're trying to do, is get a grant in order to develop these curriculum so that the students can test those out and we can come back with good feedback and see, did that work? Was this something that maybe we need to take it further? One of the things that I'm excited about is taking the kids to a fish market and having them see the end product. Okay, we went out fishing, now this is what happens here, and now how does this happen? How does it get to your table? You know, and why is that important? Why do we have to have things that protect that environment, that protect the ecology and the economy? Why is that important?
Which leads to the fact that what you said, we've got to protect, you know, our waters. We got to, you know, protect our lands and those kind of things, you know, and you know, if we have fewer people tossing things out of the boat, you know, or out of the window, that if they think more about, you know, there's an impact on that might, you know, impact jobs in the future, might, you know, a lot of different things. So I mean, is that a grassroots part of it? Am I off there?
It is, but let's take it a step further. A step further would be, why is it important for boats not to churn up that seagrass? Okay.
Amen.
Why is that important? What does it matter? Well, it matters. The seagrasses are an incubation of so many different species, and it takes years for that seagrass to come back. When you just, you know, got your motor a little low or whatever, let's be careful with that. If we can't teach our students to care about that, if we can't teach the next generation to care about that, we will not have what we have here. The fishing will not be as good as it is. The recreation will not be. And the state of Florida will not be a great place to come and recreate and have recreation and learn and preserve our way of life.
And you know, it's a simple thing, but it's a very important thing. And you know, when you see the professionals out there and you see the captains out there, you know, they're poling through the seagrass, or they're even using a trolling motor, you know, to get through it, to get to deep enough water where you can run. I mean, it's it's evident, but it's just something that's extraordinarily important. You know, we get out there and when you look at it and you see all these big scars, you know, and they stay that way. They're scars for years and years and years where nothing grows there. And when nothing grows, nothing feeds there, nothing hides there, you know, and it continues to deplete. And you know how freaked out I was over last year's storms and thinking the grass was gone forever and that kind of thing, you know, which would significantly impact, you know, fishing here. But, you know, nature and God brought it back, and it's starting to come back. The grasses are healthy in a lot of places now, and it's, you know, things change, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So, but now when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the actual curriculum, what the kids will be doing and how they'll be exposed to the outdoors in this learning process, which I feel like is extraordinarily important. So let's take this break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Again, joined by the lovely Donna Allen. And let's take this a little bit further. Now, what will these kids, how long is the program? How will they be chosen? And what are they going to be doing with Eco Golf?
Well, one of the things that we've come up with is the concept of from STEM, which is the Institute of Florida State. They have done immersion camps to where the day camps where the kids come all day for the week.
So this is a summertime project.
Summertime project.
Okay.
It will be, we're hoping that in the 5 years that we run this, because as we develop the curriculum, we're hoping that it'll be a 5-year project, that there'll be 350 kids, 350 students that come through this. And some of the things that they'll be doing is visiting Camp Helen. And that is a resource in itself. People don't understand that brackish water is very uncommon. And it feeds through the bay, it feeds from the Gulf. And so you've got the estuary of that bay also with the Gulf of Mexico right there. And that's a really unique estuary. So we're going to be doing some of that. We'll be seining the bay, seining nets and seining the bay, so that when we seine that, the students can see exactly what's living in that grass, you know, and why are these fish so small, and why are these crabs so small? It's you know, it's and what happens after that, you know. The other part is that we'll be examining the products that come out of the Gulf of Mexico. Where do they come from, and where are they then sent? Visiting the fish market, like I had said, and the supermarkets, and then we'll be discussing the economics of the Gulf of Mexico and the professionals in the economics that help us. I mean, the politicians that help us make things happen, and how we can be part of that, how we can help that. The other part is just exploring ways to protect our environment, protect the ecology.
You have educators, you have biologists, you have people who have bought into this and offering to work within this system. And Florida State is the sponsor of this. So.
Yeah, Florida State STEM, and what we would be doing is taking part of what we're doing with this grant, trying to get this grant to get some momentum, is that we're trying to get the educators and the scientists all on the same page, teaching together. That's very different. And then having the students be the ones that have that great outcome of those professionals coming together. It's a very exciting project.
And you bring up a very good point. This is, to take it a step further, this is a nonprofit corporation.
Oh, yes.
This is a nonprofit entity.
Yes.
These are concerned people who have gotten together to put together a program to expose kids to the outdoors, but more importantly to why it's important. And this is a project that needs to be funded. You know, you need a grant, you need people to support it, and it's not extraordinarily expensive, but it does cost to put these kinds of things together. So if you're sitting out there and you're listening, you have an interest in this, probably the best way, just send Winston an email and he'll get it to Donna. But if you know somebody that would like to support this kind of thing, you know, a foundation or an organization or something like that that would like to contribute to it, Donna has complete details. You have a full budget out for 5 years, correct?
Or if you have anyone who wants to help volunteer and help us kind of
again,
develop
absolutely.
some of that curriculum, because we have so many people out there, especially the fishermen, who have an interest in this, and they want to make sure that what they love in the generations to come will be continued on. And the only way to do that is to hook them and let children know that there's a value in this.
And you're going to need, as they go out, you're going to need some boats, some
we are.
transportation.
Those are kind of things that are going to cost, but we're going to need.
I've volunteered to use my boat. Mark has volunteered to use his. You know, I'm sure Matt and Justin are always in support of these kind of things. There's a lot of people really interested in doing this kind of work. Now, to start with, how are the kids, how many kids in this, which is going to be 2015, but how many kids will be involved to begin with, and they come from Boys and Girls Clubs
Boys and Girls
Inc.?
And Girls Incorporated. And what will be the very first piloting program, it'll be 10 students that come to us, and that's just because we have to have the volunteers to make sure that when you're on the water and when you're doing these things, you're watching them.
The safety,
they are fourth and fifth graders at this point.
Fourth and fifth graders, okay.
Fourth grade going to fifth grade going to sixth grade. That's because those children at that age are very hands-on, want to explore. They're very, they want to know and explore things with hand. All children like to do hands-on things, but this is an age where they are very interested in why. And so this is an age to hook them, and that is hook them with fishing. You know, hook them with anything you can do that with, so that they love the outdoors and they understand and appreciate what needs to happen to preserve that. And you know, it always goes back to the economics of it too, because the state of Florida doesn't have state income tax because of our tourism, because of how we can have the recreation that we need.
Well, you know, we could probably talk about this for a very long time. We're getting close to being out of time, but, you know, there's another example of good people in Bay County, you know, trying to do something to support our economy, to get kids outside. If you want to help, if you want to volunteer, if you might know of a source that would help to fund this, give us a call. Have a great day. Look forward to seeing Winston tomorrow. Good night.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.